Alright, it's time to get started on them again. Looking them over, I think what I'm going to do is start on the feathers. Okay, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my baling wire. Yeah, you can get this at any hardware store. Now, I've asked around to different people what feather type they would have used. This is a center tail feather. This is the cheese feather here. It's also called the blood feather. This is a wing feather, and they would have used this, and they would have steamed it or heated up the quill to straighten the feather, and they would have used these for the headdress. That's what I've been told anyway. Now I'm making a feather armature, and I found the center of the wire by just putting my finger and balancing the wire. Once I get it balanced, I know that where I've got it balanced at is the center of the wire, so that I can take that wire and because these are big feathers, I need extra strength. Normally I would just use one thing of wire in it. Okay, I've made the wire armatures, you can see them here. And now I need to make a pattern. And what I'm going to do is I printed out I took some pictures years ago, probably back when I first started sculpting, and then I used an old primitive printing program, which really is better than most of the ones you got now, and publishing program, and I was able to establish a head measurement in comparison to the actual feather, and then I drew out this pattern with the head measurement both that way and that way, so that all I had to do on my printing program or publishing program was to expand the measurement until it matched the measurement for the head measurement on the piece I'm working on, which would actually automatically scale the feathers to the figure I'm working on. Now, I'm going to cut out a pattern. Alright, now I grab some clay. It's all softened up underneath the light in my hot box. Alright, I'm using an ink roller that I got at a art supply store that also had printing supplies, and it works really nice for rolling clay because it's a rubber roller, and the rubber will not stick to the well, supposedly not stick to the clay, but anyway, let's go ahead and roll out the clay. The thing is, I want to keep it a little thicker than normal. I don't want to make it too thin. I hope you can see that. It's probably about, quarter of an inch, maybe an eighth of an inch, 3/8 of an inch thick. I take this pattern, put it on the clay, and I just draw a line around it. I don't want to cut because I'll be constantly cutting into the pattern, and then eventually the pattern disappears. Cut out the clay. Not worrying about keeping in the lines, just generally where it's supposed to be. Okay, put that back in the hot box. I take this wire armature, and what I'm going to do is heat up the armature with a flame. It's starting to heat up on my fingers now, so I'll just stop, and then I melt it into the clay. And melting it into the clay is the best way to do it, because then it becomes sticky in there. It's not pressing there cold. And you just cover up where the wire was. That's how you make your armature. Let me see if I can get this off here. And now we got a feather started, and now let's do the rest of it. Now I just start using the serrated edge, and you can see the serrated edge sort of emulates the quills of the feather. Alright, now that I got that, I'll put that right there. Now the feather looks real, let's see if I can get this so you can see it better. It's thin, but yet it's still castable, because it's not so thin that they can't make a mold of it. Alright, now I'll make the quill for the feather. This takes practice too, doing this rolling out. You make a long, slender piece of quill. On the quill of the feather, the quill starts out thick at the bottom of the feather, and then goes to a real thin point up here at the top. Well, you've got to emulate that, so what I'm doing is I'm making this thicker on this end, and then I work it down thinner on this end. It's real thin on that end. And what I do is I'll do the back first, and since the curve of the feather's up that way, just draw it down there like that. Just lightly press it into the clay so that it stays there. So now you can see the curve of the feather. Okay, I've bent the wire back on it, make a hook out of it, so that that will be the part that goes into the clay. Alright, now I'm going to put some detail into the quill, or into the feather. And you can keep the feather nice and clean if you want. I like to put little things to show that the feather's a little old. I just follow the shape of the, or the direction of the quill, and I cut a little thing in there, and then I'll cut another one here and there, and then I'll just no set pattern, just put them wherever you want to. Okay, what I want to do is I want to show that there's a thread tying the cloth onto this quill. So I take a rounded tool, a little wire will do good too, and then I just roll the clay around so that it goes all the way around it. And you can see that gives it a nice little look of being tied. Now I'll take that feather and I'll put it onto the shield. By driving the, there you go. Now after I get it on there and everything in place, I'll dress it up a little bit. Right now it's a little rough. There we go. Alright, that's how you make a feather. And I'm going to make the rest of the feathers at home or here at the studio. But I just wanted to let you see this one, and that'll be it for today. This is how you make a feather.